Life of a high-profile person is quite daunting at times. Yet when the person becomes ill, the limelight all of a sudden centers on you. And with me is Connie Payson, and we're going to find out about her story. Connie, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Thank you. You were married to one of the most famous football players of all time. Yet on November 1st, 1999, he died from cancer. You want to tell us what happened?
Well, actually, in the fall of, I should say the winter of 1998, Walter was diagnosed with a rare liver disease called primary sclerosis cholangitis.
Wow.
And he was actually waitlisted for a liver transplant. But then in May of 1999, they discovered that he had cancerous tumors, which then made him no longer a candidate for a liver transplant. So we went from, one diagnosis of, needing a liver, which we knew he would get, and we really weren't too worried about it, to now facing a cancer diagnosis, which was very, very, very scary. And so, of course, we went through that whole battle and that whole, fight of trying to now deal with the cancer. And actually, like you said, on November 1st, 1999, the cancer took his life.
Sorry to hear about that. But how did you handle it?
Well, actually, when he first sat me down to even tell me the story of the rare liver disease, that was a shock because my husband was stronger than anybody I knew. And this was somebody in 13 years of playing football, had never missed one game. Well, I take that back. He missed a game, but it wasn't because he felt he was sick. So he never took, the blame for missing a game. The coaches, he had a sprained ankle or something, and the coaches thought he couldn't play, but he actually wanted to play that game. So this is a person who had never been really sick, other than a minor cold, but he never allowed it to stop him. So when he was diagnosed with that rare liver disease, it sort of surprised all of us, and then when later on diagnosed with the cancer, that just really threw us back too. But actually, through the whole thing, we just really felt that, it would be okay, that he would make it through it. We weren't worried about the liver transplant because we just figured he would get a liver eventually. He had 2 years, he was told, to live, without getting a new liver. So we thought, okay, that's fine. We know he'll get a liver within 2 years. But then once the cancer was diagnosed, he had a very aggressive type of cancer. So, that was our worst fear. But, I've got to admit that, with support of family and friends, we got through it.
I was going to say, how did you handle it? But with your family, a good support system?
A good support system. It was very important.
What strengths did you draw on during this time?
Well, my family tend to be very spiritual people, and we were raised that way, and both Walter too, and we knew we had to have great faith, in spite of what we were seeing with his drastic weight loss and some of the things that were going on, and in spite of some of the things we were being told by doctors, we had to have great faith that we were going to make it through the whole thing. And I think it was that, number one, and like I said, just knowing that we had not only our family and our friends, but we had a whole city rallied around us. And so, and that was empowering. It really was. I mean, we drew a lot on that support too, that we knew people were really praying for Walter and pulling for him to really beat the cancer. And so that helped a lot. It got me through many of nights and days. And
what about your children?
Well, I would have to think it was more difficult for Jared and Brittany. Brittany was actually 14 at the time Walter was diagnosed, and Jared was 18 going on 19, so he was about to leave home, going away to college. So it was definitely more difficult to them also, and I think for the same reason. Dad had never been sick. Dad had never missed a day of work. And as far as my son was concerned, he was his superhero, and nothing like this should happen to my father. So it was real difficult for both of the kids to acknowledge, but again, we pulled on each other's strength, and, we talked about everything, and that was important, to really be honest with, all of the diagnoses that we were getting, and Walter's attitude played a huge part in getting us through this too. I mean, he was very upbeat and positive, And even at times when we wanted to get down, he wouldn't allow us to get down because, you know, he had such a positive attitude, and that was important too. So, you know, the kids really drew on his strength. And and after his passing, it was a little difficult, but again, having so many people who loved him and who loved our family rally around us really, really helped us.
That's terrific.
Yes.
What kind of treatment did Walter go through?
He originally he went through radiation, and then we, through a good friend of ours, found out about this wonderful little hospital in Zion, Illinois, Cancer Treatment Centers of America, which I had seen commercials for tons of times, but when it doesn't pertain to you, you don't pay attention.
Exactly.
And really, we had been told that there was nothing else. Take him home, you know, let him, just keep him comfortable. And I refused to believe that.
Yeah.
And our friends refused to believe that. And they're like, no, we're going to keep fighting this until the end. And took him to this hospital. And they really rallied around us. And the doctors, I mean, it's the type of hospital, it's so small, and their only concern is cancer. I mean, that's their mission, is to beat cancer and to fight cancer and do cancer research. And it was amazing what they did, you know, in two weeks, because he was really laying in our home lifeless, just on heavy medication, you know, just keeping him comfortable. And I knew he wouldn't want the end to be that way, so we actually made our way to this hospital, and they put him on nutrition and really shared with us things that we didn't know about, that no one else had really concerned us, you know, told us, hey, you know, nutrition and, you know, keep him hydrated and exercise and you know, just those types of things were very, very important in, you know, getting through, you know, and getting us through the fight. And so for 2 months, it was amazing. I mean, you know, within 2 months, but just giving him back his dignity and just, you know, to a point where he could reason things out and we can work through some last moment things, you know, before his passing, meant a lot to him and meant a lot to my family and I.
That is fantastic.
Yes.
I think. You also testified on Capitol Hill before the House Committee on Governmental Reform. You want to share with us the reason you were there?
Well, it was actually, they were talking about the importance of innovative medicines. And, you know, this hospital, the research that we do with my cancer fund, and I'm a part of, under the umbrella of the Cancer Treatment Centers, Cancer Treatment Research Foundation, I got it right. That we do research in the areas of not only conventional medicines, but also alternative medicines. And I know a lot of people get afraid and want to shy away, you know, from the complementary medicines. But I realized then that it made a tremendous difference, and people should know about them. People should be exposed to it, and it's not something most doctors do at first. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with chemo and radiation, because we believe in that too. But you could, if you do them in conjunction with other things, I think you know, it's a balance, and it's, I don't know, more well-rounded, and I don't know, I just think you afford the patient a lot more. And so I was just really excited about the things they had to offer. So I went there to really talk about my experience those 2 months at that hospital and what they exposed us to, and how it's really sad that even today people have to take their kids out of the country for treatments that are probably less expensive than some of the ones we have here in this country. But they work, they're simple, but they work, you know? And so that was mainly my testimony, was that I wish more people could be exposed to those types of treatment, and why should we have to leave our country and go to other places to get that, you know, those types of treatments when we can get them right here at home.
Do you think you're going to have an impact on Capitol Hill and go towards all these alternative medicines?
I think so. There were some very powerful testimonies besides mine there when I testified, and yes, I do think some changes will be made.
Good, I'm glad. You're a survivor in more than one sense. You've also written a book called Stronger Than Cancer. All right. You want to tell us how you came to write this book?
Well, I wanted to share my story, and hopefully it could be a sense of empowerment for other people. And this book can be used as a resource for people who might be traveling the same road that I've traveled. And it's very inspirational, enlightening, and just hopefully this book will give people hope that no matter what you're going through, you can make it with the right support system, the right, belief, and that it's all durable. And so that's what I think, and it's very meaningful because it's not only my story that I've lived, but it's heartfelt stories from other families who've walked through and battled cancer, who are survivors or who might be going through it right now. And I think when you've got those type of stories that are really true, then people could really, identify with them. So,
sell this through your foundation?
actually, the proceeds from the sale of Stronger Than Cancer will go to the Walter Payson Cancer Fund. 99 cents of every dollar will be donated directly to the Cancer Fund, and I'm really excited about that because I think that separates my foundation from a lot of other foundations, because we being underwritten by Cancer Treatment Centers of America, we're able to take 99 cents of every dollar and put it toward research. And people also have the option of deciding what areas of research they want their monies to go to, whether it be spirituality, nutrition, exercise. I mean, there's a number of ways people could, designate their money, allocate their money. So it's really wonderful.
What advice would you give to someone who is in the same situation?
I would tell them that attitude is, plays a strong part, and and you've got to have the right attitude, and also having a very strong support system is extremely important. And that person should be in a position where they should do nothing but concentrate on getting better and healing, and all the rest of everything else should be left to the family and to the friends. And I think, I don't know, it is. You just get strength, you draw strength from numbers, and there's strength in numbers, and I don't know how we could have done it without family and friends and good doctors, and I think it just would have been almost impossible. So,
you run two foundations. What are the differences? You mentioned one. What is the other one?
The other one is the Walter and Connie Payson Foundation, and actually that foundation is geared more towards children. We actually do like back to school for kids, supply them with, school supplies, right before school. We try to keep these kids encouraged. These are kids that have been taken from their homes, for reasons other than something that they've done themselves most times, and they're really in foster care. So we do a big Christmas program for them, and as I said, we're the official gift givers for the, for the state, and Walter, every year, that was his big goal, is to do a big Christmas party and give each of these kids a Christmas bag valued at least $100. So this is a continuation of the foundation that he started, and if we could just change one life and give that child hope, to just go on and do something with their life so they can hopefully come back and reach back and pull another kid along and help somebody else. To me, that's what it's all about.
What would you like to leave the audience with?
Never give up, no matter what you're going through in life, to stay hopeful and faithful, and to never give up.
Connie, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. It was nice to be here.
And thank you for joining. I hope we've given you some uplifting thoughts. Hope you're well. Bye now.